Opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to a cobbled-together episode of Scarefest TV. I'm your host, Wes Forsyth, and the original broadcast date, August 25th, 2023. I'm joined tonight by my number one A1 co-host, Chad Harlan,
Howdy.
and our super special guest tonight, Mr. Ken Foree. Ken,
Hello.
you're at a convention this weekend, right?
Yes, I am.
Which one? You can let it slide.
It's Sci-Fi Horror Fest in Vernon, New York.
You hesitate a little bit. That tells me you're spending too much time on the road.
Oh man, please. No, I think it's the feed, but yeah.
Okay. So basically, we've got Ken here tonight. Ken, I did get to bone up on some of your work.
Mm-hmm.
First, I was going to ask you. This was actually Chad's idea, but I'm stealing his idea.
Sure.
What TV show in the 1980s did you not do?
You're kidding me. You
Look
I
at
can't
you.
answer that. That's a trick question.
Oh, it was
I
beautiful.
did every one.
Every goddamn one.
Almost everyone.
Okay, I got to ask. Now, the reason I'm asking, this is a follow-up. Dukes of Hazzard. I'm going to ask you this because after the Dukes of Hazzard was over, I got to see Rob Schneider in a movie, and I watched it this week or two, and he had the most beautiful porn mustache I've ever seen in my life. So that's the only reason I'm asking about Dukes of Hazzard. What was your part in Dukes of Hazzard?
I played a sheriff or deputy from a town close to Hazardville, wherever they were located. And my mayor and I paid a visit to the mayor of Dukes and Hazzard, and they had a little argument and a little competition, and I had a few scenes, and that was it.
That's okay. It's Dukes of Hazzard, dude. I mean, it's
exactly.
It's a cultural. It is a cultural icon.
Yes, about the car.
Now we of course now I boned up on Dawn of the Dead. It'd been a while since I watched it. But of course, you played Peter in that. But I tried. Okay, I'm one of the guys. Even though that's what you're known for, I watched some of your newer stuff. Okay. Let's see. It was From Beyond.
Yes.
Nice campy horror movie. How much nerve did it take to do the underwear scene?
To do what?
To do the underwear scene.
Indoor scene.
Underwear. You were tackled.
Underwear.
Underwear.
What you asking me?
Yes, you were tackled on the. Or you tackled a guy on the stairs in your shorts, and
right.
I don't have the body positivity to do that, so I wanted to ask you about it.
Well, I tell you something. That was a supposed to be a joke that was supposed to be hidden from the camera and from the audience. And it never was. For some reason, it got released. And we were supposed to, I was told that we were not going to show that.
That was going to be on the cutting room floor.
I was doing it as a pure lark, and to relieve a lot of things that was going on, a lot of stuff that was going on the set that was crazy. And I thought it would fit, and we would have a laugh, and that would be it. And lo and behold, I didn't see that. It played at KTLA, I believe, in Los Angeles. This is a local channel, Channel 9 or Channel 11 or something like that. And It played on regular TV, and I saw the film, and I said, okay, very nice. I saw it again. They played again on the same channel. Very nice. And I didn't see that it hadn't been cut until about 20 years later when somebody gave me a DVD, and I was stunned that it hadn't been cut. So it was a joke gone awry, and it shouldn't have been in the film.
Well, I'm going to tell you, were a beautiful specimen of a man.
I was all of the beautiful body that you could see that was there, and it was. Thank God I was in shape and didn't look like you guys, so I looked great.
Exactly.
I looked great half nude.
from our chat room, since we're on that movie, it's a good time to ask it. In From Beyond, you made a dish. I don't even remember that, but they said you made a dish. What was that dish? Because they don't know either.
This is a difficult question because the dish was supposedly made by the director's wife. I found out 30 or 40 or 50 years later. I didn't know who made the dish at the time when we were shooting. And it was one huge dumpling, the biggest dumpling I'd ever seen in my life, about the size of a grapefruit. And it was pretty dry and chalky, and I hated it. and then I find out, 40, 50 years later, that it was the director's wife, and that she had was taken aback a bit by me not liking her dumpling. So go figure, guys.
Well, apparently it did not hurt.
I apologize from this now. Darling, I'm so sorry I didn't like your dumpling, and if you'd like to let me taste another dumpling, I'd be happy to do that, and I can guarantee you I will properly. Okay, that's on tape.
Like it. Based on your IMDb, I'd say it did not hurt your career. You've been a busy man, and I don't think. Okay, I've seen actors with a full IMDb page. I don't think I've ever seen anybody work so consistently. Or did you ever just take any time off? I mean, you're through the 90s, 2000s, right up to 2020. You're still cranking them out, dude.
I'm a working actor and was a working actor, and working actors work as much as they can because you don't know when. I once did a Hill Street Blues, and the guy that played the police captain, Daniel, I forget Daniel's last name. It's been so long. But anyway, everyone knows who I'm talking about. He gave me a ride out to the front gate one day, and as a matter of fact, I'm sorry, we were sitting in the courtroom on the sound stage of Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers, or it was, I think it was NBC, probably in the Valley. Anyway, one of the sound stages, and it was just going on too long. We've been there for 14 hours or something. It was a long shooting day. And I sat there and we sat together, and I said, Jesus, does it go on like this often? He says, yeah, it does. I said, how do you stand it? And he said, listen, I spent so much time not working that I'm very thrilled and appreciative to have work and to be busy. So I don't complain. And from that point on, I never complained again.
Chad, over to you.
Well, again, I'm very excited to talk to you tonight. You have one of the most
I've been
impressive...
waiting to talk to you all my life. Talk to me, Chad. Talk to me, baby.
Outstanding. I can't wait. You have one of the most impressive IMDb pages probably in the industry. You have been on everything, involved in everything, and it's just impressive to look at. But I'm going to mention and then move on because nobody's going to know what I'm talking about. You were on my favorite TV show of all time that only I remember, which is Tales of the Gold Monkey.
Oh, my God. Yes. My goodness.
I have looked for years trying to find that in rerun somewhere and cannot find it, but that was my favorite show.
Oh, Tales of the Gold Monkey. God, that was one of my first shows in Hollywood. I left I left New York on the tail end of, or the in the middle of Dawn of the Dead being released all over the country, and I ended up in Hollywood looking for work. And Tales of the Gold Monkey was one of the ones I landed just to pay the rent for a week or something. And was that was very interesting. I mean, there were some interesting characters, some fine actors, and actors that went on to do a lot of great work, and some that established themselves for many years. They were established actors, and they were doing very well. So it was a nice show, funny show. Had a good time. I smile when I think of that. Well, it wasn't a series. Was it a series or was it just?
It was a series. It
was a
lasted
series.
only
Yeah,
one
it lasted
season.
on one season. Yeah, it was a series. Yeah.
But it kind of had that Indiana Jones vibe to it.
It did. And I wish I could remember more about it, guys, but I really don't. I just remember I had a good time. I met some very interesting people. And it was one of my first jobs in Los Angeles and the Hollywood industry. And
let's go back a little bit and talk about how you mentioned New York and how you got to Hollywood. I believe you're from Indiana
originally. Yes.
How did you choose the path of acting and the film industry? Was that something you had a passion for early or come later?
No, I really didn't. And most, it would be probably to my benefit and maybe my demise to say that I went to Juilliard or I wanted to still study at Yale drama like that, but it wasn't my story, and I'm not going to say that. Some people suggested I should, but I taken their suggestion seriously. But I was in New York. I had a photography studio. Before that, I was involved in politics and the civil rights movement, and for many years. And then I managed interesting story. I managed the Walter Reed organization. I was assistant manager for many of their theaters. So I opened the Good, the Bad, the Ugly at the DeMille Theater, the Deer Hunter at the Festival Theater on 57th Street and in Midtown, the Producers at the Fine Arts Theater, and I know Max Brooks is a friend of mine. And I just tell him all the time, his father would come around the corner at 12 noon every day. And he would come up to me, and I'd be outside waiting for him. And he'd come up, "How you doing? How we doing?" I said, "We're sold out, Mel. We're sold out. Not a seat left. Great. See you tomorrow. That happened every day. So that's, that was my experience in New York. I did that. I was in the movement. I had a photography studio, and my photography studio was robbed, and we hadn't been open but a few months, and we didn't have insurance. So our dock room equipment, our Leicas and all our equipment was just gone. We just lost everything.
Oh.
And so I was hanging out with an actress. We were just having tea at her place. She was a friend, nothing more. We were talking and having a wonderful, comfortable Tuesday afternoon or something, just talking and just, she didn't have anything to do and I wasn't doing anything. She wasn't acting. Her name was Cheryl Carter. She's since passed, but she was a very nice lady. And she said, "Listen, I'm going down to audition for a play. Why don't you come down with me? And then we can go have dinner if you want." I said, "That sounds great. Let's do that." I had no idea where my life was going to go at this point. I just lost my studio. I was kind of finished with the political thing and the movement was going. And I said, "Okay, I've done that a little bit." I was still involved with that, but not on the level that I had been. And I said, "Okay, I'll go down. Let's do that. That sounds like a great idea." So we went down and went into this old theater on 42nd Street, broken down. This theater was, it was probably due to be demolished in the next few years. It was in such bad shape, but it's a huge theater. And she went up and auditioned. And I watched a lot of other people going up and auditioning. And I said, gee, that looks like an interesting thing to do. I said, wow, wonder if I could get a dinner is served role. And I take your hat, madam role, or something like that. Just something to do while I'm figuring out what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. Something to do for a couple of weeks for fun. And I said, Cheryl, you think I should go up? She said, why not? Just for the heck of it. So I said, what do I do? What do I read? She said, well, read what everyone else is reading. So I did. And I went up and read it. And I got the lead in an off-Broadway play. And that play got rave reviews. We went to the Manhattan Theater Club. We left that theater and lucky to have the Manhattan Theater Club bring us in. And the Manhattan Theater Club, and it was East Side Theater, with very prestigious theater. And I got great reviews. And that was the beginning of my. So I did off Broadway and off Broadway from that point on, and did got to. I guess got sawdust in my nostrils, and that was the beginning.
Sounds like your life's been every bit as interesting as your credits have been. So
Yes.
right now, we're going to toss it to our first break, and we'll be right back with Ken Foree.
Yeah.
Horror. Movies. Fans. For. Life. On Facebook. Find us. For watch parties. For news. For memes. For friends. For life. Horror movie fans for life. Join us.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest Television. We're talking to Ken Foree. Okay, Ken, we were kind of talking about it during the commercial break. Your answers are detailed and eloquent, and you're obviously a great storyteller. This is for me personally now. Why are your emails like 3 words long?
My emails are 3 words long. You've been long emails, my friend.
I've been on email contact with you this week.
I'm doing better. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do, because nobody wants a long email, and I'm the guy that writes 3 or 4 paragraphs, and people say, cut it down.
No. See, I'm a wordsmith. I appreciate a good long wordy email.
Yeah, I know, but I'm the same way. I want to get my thoughts across, and I want to say this, and I want to say that. I want to tell you a story. I want to give you all the good details of everything that's going on. I want to be show my passion for what I'm saying, and I want to make sure that you understand exactly where I'm going and what I'm trying to get out of you and what I'm trying to share with you. And I end up with a four paragraph, long email, and I've been brought to the chair, to the fire about that many times. That you don't need to send all this. People don't want to read long emails. They want just a few words, just get to the point and get out of there. Let people alone. So that's, I don't know, where did I send you?
I don't have to look. I don't know. I just ask you a question. I've read it. And I'm like, did he even answer me? It was like,
it must have been quick. It must have been after I got sizzled by someone writing a long email, and you were the next one on the list. And I said, okay, How are you? Thank you. Send this. Bye.
Yeah, that was pretty much that way. Okay, now, back to your talent. Okay, you have absolutely a beautiful, beautiful voice. There's no getting around it. And so, what everybody's in the chat room, they're asking now. Hope this isn't against the strike rules. We got a couple of lines that they want to hear you say again. The first one was, "I'm Joe Grizzly Bitch."
Oh, boy, that is hot. That line is so hot. Do you know the history of that line? Does the audience know? Do they know?
Tell us about it.
I got in that scene, which was a great scene, and we tore down 2 bathroom stalls. People, probably you know that, and everybody else knows that. But just in the heat of the moment, it wasn't a line that was. It was an ad lib. I think that everything when I stood up, everything I said when I stood up was an ad lib. When I looked him in the face, that Susie, I swiped that, well, smack your face, whatever I was going to say. I said, "Do you know you talking to? I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch." That line went viral all over the place. I had people in the UK wearing T-shirts, selling T-shirts, saying "I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch." People ask me to sign it. They love that line. They say it constantly. And the line that I thought I really loved in that scene, I didn't deliver it quite as well. Probably I probably didn't. I don't know. It was what we have here is a failure to communicate, which is Struthers Martin's line in Cool Hand Luke. Famous line. Only 2, I think, Struthers Martin, me, and maybe another person has ever said that line. I said, "Gee, I'm going to say that line." I'm really excited about that. But no one remembers that line. They remember something about the tacos and stuff, but that's not really, for the people who really appreciate that scene. It's always, "I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch." That's the one they love. So yeah, it's gone viral. Absolutely viral.
Now, the other line they're asking about, now this one, honestly, I don't remember. I remember the movie, but I don't remember the line. The chicken line from Devil's Rejects.
I don't remember that line. Go ahead. I don't remember what. Okay, let's see. What can I do with that? Rhode Island Red. That's about all I remember. Rhode Island Red. I love them. I think I'd say, Leon, do you know why my brother loves fried chicken? Or something. And I said, and I don't know why I said that. I don't remember the line. I'd have to study, look at it again. I think I had lived there too. Rob always said, go ahead and just say what you want, because I never know what you're going to say, but it always works. So go ahead and say it. So I think I had lived that as well, So I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Flipping it back to you again, Chad.
Chicken what? That was one of them. Chicken what?
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about your progression through the industry. I know everybody's here to hear about the horror stuff, but I know you've got producing and writing credits too. And yes. How did you move from acting over to producing and the writing side?
There's several films that I've been involved in that I had great ideas, and they were open to hearing what I wanted to say. And I also would write a scene or two and dialogue, and or suggest that we shoot something that we should add in terms of a scene or something. And they loved the ideas, and they said, "We want you to be a producer." And I said, "Well, I've got to earn that." "Well, you're already earning it. You've already corrected 4 or 5 things in our film. You've already writing things. You got the dialogue straight. Hey, so that's pretty much how it works almost in everything I've done in terms of producing. It's just people realize that I have a knack for dialogue and writing dialogue. And probably if I were to do this all over again, I would do much more writing, because I have found that I have a real talent for scene structure, character development, and storytelling and writing in terms of building characters. So I'm really, it's a talent that I have, and I have to, and I say that humbly, if I can say it humbly and say it, I do that. But it's something that people have told me, and people who have who have great sense for seeing that talent, that kind of talent, have told me that you really should be doing this. Turns out I've gone to many films then they said, hey, you got to take the producer's credit because you're doing this, that, and you've got to take the credit. I've kind of argued it. I think the Rift, I had someone that someone came up today and said, I saw the Rift. And I said, you did? That's a great film. I love the film. He said, love the way you changed from a good guy to a bad guy, a monster. You try to kill everybody. I said, yeah. And that was one situation where I said to the guys, I said, listen, we have to do this and that. We have to make sure that people understand why there's a connection between the cross and this situation and that situation. And if it's not, I don't want to go to a film festival and have someone ask me what's this about. So let's fix this. And here's some dialogue, and here's another scene. I saw, and the producer turned around and said, "You're going to be a producer." I said, I haven't earned it. Yes, you have. I said, well, just keep doing what you're doing, and it's cover my back. So I did, and they gave me a producer's credit. So, sometimes that's how it works for me.
Well, and certainly I can see where you bring an interesting perspective to anything you work on. I think your writing credit was on DC Sniper. So how did you get involved in that project?
Oh God, man, that's a strange one, because I wrote some really interesting monologues for my character, and some other scenes, editing some other scenes for two of us, the young man and myself, and also some of the stuff he had before the lieutenant of the cop that was investigating. And he did not use what we filmed that I had, the monologues that I had used, that I'd written. And I thought they were long lost, and I was very pissed that he didn't use them, because I thought they were good. And about a year ago, a cousin of mine, who's he's very resourceful, he's a very resourceful guy, and he found the monologues that were filmed, and he sent them to me, and for me to look at. And it's the first time I've seen them, me in that performance. And he said, what a great performance this is. And I said, yeah, but it's not in the film. So, that's how that came about. So the writing thing was already in place, but then when it came to editing, he had some other choices he wanted to make, so they didn't make it. Which happens with a lot of films through the history of.
Yeah, there's a lot of people involved in those decisions, but I'm sure that your contribution was immeasurable anyway, though. We're coming up on our next break. I'm going to go ahead and toss to that. We'll be right back.
All righty.
Don't forget to visit our sponsor, Holiday Glass Studio, Wicked Stained Glass. People, you don't know how stained glass fits in to the horror genre until you visit their website or see them at a show. HolidayGlassStudio.com. That's 2 L's in holiday. Otherwise, spell it out. HolidayGlassStudio.com. Unique designs. And I love that when you go to their website, when you go on the front page, their Wicked collection is right at the top. Michael Myers stained glass. Angel of Darkness stained glass. Nosferatu. Pyramid Head of all things. Stained glass for the horror enthusiasts. Check them out online. And of course, they will be a vendor at the Scarefest. Now, for our first celebrity announcement of the evening, Mr. Ken Foree. And you know him from Dawn of the Dead, from Beyond Halloween and Lords of Salem. and the Rift, which I actually did watch this weekend. I'm gonna make him sit down and explain it all to me, just because he said it would annoy him if he had to. Okay, but yes, Ken is coming. I kept it. I think this was the best teasing a guest without admitting that they're coming that I've ever done. I'm gonna pat myself on the back for it. So there, that's me. Okay, next up, Mr. Ken Boggle. Now, a lot of us from the Lexington area know Ken Boggle. He's been a fixture at the fair, at the Scarefest and the Mystical Fair for years. He's finally hit the big leagues. So I wanted to pass it on. He's got a TV show coming out. It'll be on Hulu of October 18th. It premieres. But it's from the creators of Queer Eye. 5 fabulous queer ghost hunters crisscross the country, helping the living by healing the dead. As they explore some of the world's most infamous haunted locations, they'll shed light on those not seen and illuminate unknown, untold stories. Together, they will push past boundaries to bring acceptance to the misunderstood, living and dead. Name of the show's Living for the Dead. Ken Boggle is coming to Scarefest this year. Now I do have bad news. Rick Stasinski from Terrifier can't make it. He's had to cancel. We've had our first cancellation. We're usually going to get 1 or 2, but yeah, Rick can't make it. So I wanted to get that announced. I found out literally yesterday. Reed Masterson's Magic Show. Reed Masterson's Magic Show. The tickets are on sale. Same place you buy your admission tickets. Go to scarefestweekend.com. If you don't want to click a link on Facebook, just go to scarefestweekend.com, click the ticket button, and get your tickets to see his magic show. He was on the floor last year. This year we've given him his own bigger show in his own room. The Central Kentucky Mystical Market is coming up this weekend, August 26th and 27th, Saturday and Sunday, Clarion Hotel, Newtown Pike, in the Paddock Ballroom. I don't know why I can't remember the name of that. But check them out. You can look them up on Facebook, or find them. Their website is centralkymysticalmarket.com. But that is going on this weekend, and hopefully they've got the air conditioning fixed. Because last time I heard it got kind of warm. I wasn't there. I'm going to do another plug for my Sleepaway Camp cosplay. I'm up to 27. To get this pushed through, because I really do want to do this cosplay, but I kind of have to pretend that I don't. You can now go to my Patreon page, subscribe for free. As long as I get 50 subscribers, even if they're at the free level, I will do this cosplay in the cutoff shirt and everything. Now, if I get 100 subscribers, I will do that cosplay with a temporary tramp stamp. But that's up to you. I'm not moving on that one. That's at patreon.com/scarefestradio. If you forget the address, just go to the website, scarefestradio.com. And I'm not pushing for the push-ups anymore, but I'm running my first 5K. And I want to give special thanks to my first 5K sponsor, Gloria Frakes, old friend of ours. Run, baby, run. I am benefiting neonatal ICU babies. Why am I I don't even like kids. Why do I end up doing things for kids? Anyway, I am doing a 5K, Lexington, Kentucky, last Saturday of September. I'll be posting more about it, and if you want to come down and, Chad, I think it would be really funny if, it's all right, you don't have to switch it. Chad, you should come down and lob water bottles at the back of my head when I run by.
I'll probably try to do something. I'm just wondering if you're going to be able to walk by Scarefest if you're running a 5K in September.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? The 5K is the easy part. So, yeah, I'm not even worried about that. But, yeah, I think
we'll see.
The big question will be, after the 5K is, I'm wanting to get everybody that comes to watch me, and we all should go out for drinks, but I don't know if they serve those at the emergency room, but we'll find out. Okay. Now back to the show, back to our guest, Ken Foree. Ken, it is great to have you on board at Scarefest.
Thank you.
Is this your second time with us or third?
Gee, guys, I used to come years ago under your past ownership. I think I was there 3 or 4 times then.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I was there quite a bit. I wanted to mention that in the writing, I've written a 6-hour limited series. This is a real quick story, but I gotta drop this.
Take your time. We got 30 minutes left.
6-hour limited series on a historical drama. Interesting, great thing. I can't tell you how great it is, but anyway, it's, all writers will say that. I also have I'm turning one into a comic book that's a zombie feature. It's not turning into a comic book, so hopefully that'll work out. And then I've also got a feature that I've written that probably is more in tune with the audience we're to at this point. It's a serial killer script, and it's really crazy. So, so I take it from the time he's 5 years old until the time he's in his 30s, and it shows that this kid has run into every possible thing that could go wrong for him goes wrong for him, where some of us may duck the punch, and some of us don't get hit by it. But this kid never ducks the punch and always gets hit by it. Goes that way. People disappoint him. People abuse him all his life, and he turns into a serial killer. And it's interesting, very interesting story, great story. So here's the reason I'm mentioning all this is one reason, because I love to talk about myself. The other is I had a pitching to the streaming networks, about 8 of them, production companies, numerous, venture capitalists, a great many of them, for a 4-day film festival. I won't say where, okay? Coming up in October. I've been setting this up for over a year. I was going to be put in the right position to do everything I do, and especially do what I do best, is to talk to people and to tell my story and tell these stories and to get people interested. I didn't know if I'd walk out of there with a green light or anything, but I certainly know I would walk out with people interested and wanted to hear more about my projects. So I had three projects: the zombie project, the serial killer project, the historical drama as well, that could turn into a feature or a 6-hour limited series. I had all the packages together, all the stuff I needed. It was mine to grab or to lose, and I wasn't going to lose. So the strike came along, and 2 weeks ago, I got a call. We can't, they're not letting us. So I'm not pitching.
Well,
hopefully that's a temporary situation.
Yeah.
I hope it's a temporary situation. I'm praying that it is. But anyway, those are some of the things you talk about me writing and producing and that kind of thing. These are some of the things that are really show my ability to write, develop characters and story, and create compelling drama. And so hopefully it will happen, and then we're going to work for it happening in another way. But boys, fellas, October, it was there. It was right there. And had it not been, and I'm for the strike, I voted for it. I'm for the first strike 100%. But took it out of my head. But that's the way it goes. So anyway, just wanted to put that in there, throw that in there. You can chew on it in that audience as you like, but just wanted to throw a little, but coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't, but that's all right. I'm still
You mentioned you mentioned a comic book possibility on there, and
Yeah.
and that makes me think back to Wes mentioned your voice. How are there not more voiceover credits on your page with a voice like that?
You know something? I've been told that all my life, and it is really something that I should have done. I mean, like the writing, that should have been one of the careers. I knew some of the best voiceover people in the world, and you know, watched them work. I did a few voiceovers, but not as many as I could have done, and not as many as I should have done had I gone got the training and went into that field. Because I think but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I need you guys. You guys. Let's work together. We'll you stand one stand on my left side, one stand on my right, and just push me, and we'll rule the world, guys.
See, now my opinion on that was, well, it's not like he's not been busy. I'm looking at your
that's true.
IMDb page. I did. Well, okay. Now I love the serial killer idea.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Now, the one you mentioned before about something about the zombies, haven't you rode that horse long enough, Ken?
Oh yeah, I wrote this. I wrote this years ago. And
yeah, but you've been doing zombie movies since 1978. Just gonna
let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you how did this happen. Okay, when I started the 6-hour limited series, I got so many people, and I'm talking about the heads of networks, the heads of the vice presidents of HBO, 20th Century Fox, the head of developments of Cano, 20th, telling me that you're such a great writer, Ken. You're such a great writer. Then you should let us see this first when you finish. I said, these people are crazy. They're just pulling my leg. Somebody's trying to lead me down the garden path. I'm not listening to this. This couldn't be. Yeah, I just didn't believe it. So they kept pestering me, and finally I said, okay, I'm going to write something else. So I wrote a 2-hour feature that was like 5 guys coming back to the community, black guys, and they're going to rescue the community and get rid of the drugs and that kind of thing. It's going to be a low budget action. Fred Williamson and Jim Brown did the exact same feature about 2 years after I wrote it. Okay, not mine, but one just like it, just same it. Then I wrote a comedy called Limo Inc., which was so similar to Taxi, very similar to Taxi. It's called Limo Inc. Very funny, very funny. I said, whoa, okay, can I write that? And then I said, wait a minute, let me write something that, what happened to me when I left the Monroeville Mall? Just see what happened. So I started writing that just to see. And I went on and I wrote something else, I think. And so I didn't just stop there, just to see if I had the chops that people were telling me I had. And bar none, everybody said yes on each one of these projects. So it was just one of the tests to see if I could write. It wasn't necessarily that, it was like, okay, what do I write about? Okay, let's write about hey, there's Taxi on the screen. I think we were watching Taxi one night. I said, I had to write something like Taxi. Okay, Limo Inc. There was something else. I forget what else I was mentioning to you, but there was another. So there was a zombie thing or something. Somebody mentioned the zombie thing, and I said, wait a minute, what happened to that? Maybe I'll write something about that. So I just wrote things that came up at the moment to see if what people were telling me was really the truth, that I could write and I had the chops of being a writer. And that's how the zombie thing happened. It wasn't my choice initially to write a zombie thing, and then that got me, but as I did, it really turned out to be something very special. It turned out to be very expensive. That's why I'm probably going to put it in a comic book, because nobody can afford to do it. I got a tanker like in Waterworld. I got a schooner. I got a battleship towards the end. I've got my brother's on the other side of this island. He's building a lab, and he's doing Shaun of the Dead kind of zombies where he's trying to domesticate them. I mean, I got all this. This is a huge budget. Nobody's going to take that.
Well, sometimes comic books are the first step to getting the series. So.
Hey, it worked for Walking Dead.
Exactly right. So I'm starting to get to, and I'll put it in the comic book if I can and see where it goes. But at least it'll be out there and somebody will see it. I'll be happy for that.
Okay, we're going to hop over. We're going to do a real quick break here, but then we're going to do the Bonehead Weekly movie spot. In the chat room, everybody, when we come back, this will be our final segment. If you got any questions, let's get them in the chat room so we can ask before we let Ken go for the evening.
Okay.
SpiritMechanics.com. SpiritMechanics.com. They have opened a brick and mortar store, The Missing Elements Shop. The Missing Elements. Look them up online, but it is a one-stop shop for spirit mechanics, Stevens, healing vibrations, metaphysical supplies. They have books, divination, altar supplies, tarot, and oracle decks, handmade glassware, spirit boards, and they will be the exclusive distributor of the West Forsyth meditation candle when they get that done. So just so you know. But yeah, check them out online, and also Stevens Healing Vibrations. If you've never tried this vibrational sound healing, give it a shot. I'm serious. If you've got a recurring, I don't want to say terminal, persistent ailment, such as a joint or something that hurts, let him try his vibrational sound healing. But check them out online, spiritmechanics.com, and visit them in the real world, 1018 East New Circle Road in Lexington. Now for Bonehead Weekly.
Hey, Scarefest fans, it's Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly, and there was a movie that came out a couple years ago, and I didn't get to see it, and I wanted to see it, and I just didn't make the time like I should, and then it finally came on streaming. It's on Peacock. You can find it on Peacock, I think. I finally watched it. I was so excited because I love the director's other movie he made. He's an actor. His name's Josh Rubin, but he's been in a ton of stuff. But he also directed a movie called Scare Me that I really enjoyed a couple years ago. In fact, I think I did a review on it here during COVID. Loved it. And then I watched his new movie, which actually came out in 2021, Werewolves Within, and not so much. Werewolves Within is basically this. I didn't even know it was based on a video game. So obviously I'm an idiot. Where these werewolves, or this werewolf attacks a small town. Going to be a gas line coming through a small town, and a lot of the different locals who are all kooks are battling over it. The small town's called Beaverfield. And then a snowstorm traps them all together in one kind of little house, and the new forest ranger, Finn, and the new postal worker, Cecily, who's played by Milana Von Trub, and she's the lovely lady from the AT&T commercials, must try to, keep it all together and try to get them together and figure out who's the werewolf, who's killing people, and who is in the middle of all this. There's scenes in it that work. I really like the lead actor who plays Finn. I actually think he did a really good job. His name's Sam Richardson. I like the Milana Von Trub, the other one. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just the movie doesn't mesh. There's not enough werewolf. It suffers a little bit from its budget. In fact, a couple of times I didn't care for when you do finally see the werewolf. I particularly didn't care for that. But let's be honest. When it comes to werewolves, it's really hard to top American Werewolf in London, The Howling, Ginger Snaps, Dog Soldiers. Werewolves are just basically Jekyll and Hyde anyway, but that's beside the point. I like a good werewolf film. I just named 4. Check them all out before you check this one out. And there's a mystery to it. So it's a horror comedy. There's not really any horror in it. There's a few chuckles, but it's not overly funny. It's one of those where it's not, and Wes always shits on me for saying the third act. And this one, it's more of like, oh man, it's not necessarily the third act as much as the screenplay needed another revision before they went to film it. It's just not enough jokes in it. There's not enough horror. There's not enough jokes. And who gives a damn about the mystery? Because most of you are going to figure it out in the first 45 minutes, even though you don't find out till 85 minutes into it of who the werewolf is. It's not a terrible movie. It's just middle of the road. And it's one of those things, oh my goodness, I'm really going to enjoy this. And I didn't. It's just middle of the road. Definitely go see Talk to Me if you want to go see a real original horror film. But Werewolves Within, it's okay. If you love werewolf movies and you already have Peacock, check it out. Watch it free, or you're already paying for streaming, watch it. But unless you're really into it, I don't know, just the main characters. He's a nice guy, and it's kind of the joke. It doesn't even really get interesting till the werewolf, which is 80 minutes into the movie, that you find it out, and that they do the flip of the character who it is, and that character, once that person flips and starts letting people know that they're the werewolf, that's interesting. I would have liked to have seen 40 more minutes of that. Unfortunately, it's the last 5 or 10 minutes of the movie, and the mystery, who cares less? You had already figured it out 45 minutes into it. So Werewolves Within, I can't necessarily recommend it, but I also can't tell you not to watch it, because it's not the biggest piece of crap I've ever seen. In fact, it's not even that bad. It's just fair to Midland, as they would say in Eastern Kentucky. Try to do Werewolves Without. Bye.
Okay.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scary Fest Television. Last little segment here with Ken. Okay, questions from the chat room. How'd you like the Dawn of the Dead remake?
I thought it was a very exciting movie. I loved some of these shots, and the cinematography was fantastic. The actors were very good as well. I loved the fast zombies as opposed to the slow zombies, even though I love slow zombies, of course. But I appreciated the movie. I thought it was a good movie. I thought the director and the production team and the producers were committed to making it as fine a movie as it was. So it was a good movie. What remakes and that kind of stuff, it was, there's a little problem with that, because they offered me a role and I said no, because there were so many crazy threats about that movie. With the fans were going crazy about, death threats, and we're not gonna. Then I said, I don't want to step into this. And then later, towards the end of the movie, I decided, okay, well, maybe I can step in, and my part was taken by someone else, and I had to take another part, and that's how I got involved.
Okay.
See, I told you got to shut me up, because I'll go on.
No, you're perfect.
Oh, no, you've done great.
This is like the second, maybe third easiest show we've ever done. Okay. What, in your movie characters that you can remember, the first question is there any particular character that you played that you most identified with?
That's it's a difficult question, because most of the characters I play, there's some part of me or something that I draw from someone I've known, and in the process, or something that I use, but in the process of that, I funnel it through me. If that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. Here,
yeah.
I'm going to flip it. This in from the chat room. Was there any that you just wanted to walk? You just walked through it and you said, "Oh my God, why did I take this part other than the paycheck?" Were there any characters that you really did not like doing?
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. There are a few donkeys that I would never want to ride again. It's in the road in the first place, guarantee. And I won't say anything about those.
Okay. Similar question, only much friendlier. We don't like asking what your favorite part was, because I'm sure they're like kids. But I do want someone in the chat room ask, what was your most memorable part?
Memorable?
Yeah. Which one, when you got done with it, you were the most proud of? Whatever your criteria would be.
God, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think I could probably chunk 3 or 4 into that category.
Well, go ahead. We're about done.
I think there was a part in a film called, in a TV series, A Hunter, I did, and it was a part that I played a mute, and my only words were guilty, and that was very memorable, because I had to do it all with facial expressions, eyes, and attitude, and internal. It was all in nonverbal, which was a challenge, So that was something. Dawn, of course, was an adventure. Rejects. I enjoyed as well. And there've been some others that oh God, Texas Chainsaw was interesting for me as an adventure, an action adventure kind of film. I did one that didn't get the best reviews, wish I could have changed some things in it, but I thought I was very good in it too, and it was John Henry, which was released in 2020. And I did some very interesting things in that as well that I was very proud of. So, there've been a few.
Last question before we let you go, and this is a perfect question to end with because I could not have asked it better myself.
Okay.
Explain the death scene from Beyond with the flashlight. And the reason we wanted it explained, when the light shined on Jeffrey and Barbara, it repelled the creatures. But when the light got on you, they ate your ass.
Do I remember that? Oh, God, man. You're talking to somebody who did it how many years ago? And now you're asking me if I remember why the light.
Yeah, but if it's going to be on the top of your IMDb page.
It flashed on Jeffrey and Barbara, and then they repelled them.
Yes.
That is a hell of a question. I have no idea why that happened. I can tell you that that's great. I thought if supposedly the light was to draw them toward me, of course. Now, if it didn't get to Jeffrey and those guys, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that. So that's whoever asked that question is paying more attention than I did to that. I'll tell you something. This
crowd does that occasionally.
Yeah, they pick up everything. I'll tell you something that I did. That is kind of they cut out a hole in the floor and they put my body under the floor, and they put my head up through the hole, and they put a wetsuit like surfers or divers wear on me, and so they poured this Karo syrup all on my head, and it was cold Karo syrup. As for the little things to stick when they flew, these little round balls of foam which fall and stick to my head and my body, and on the skeleton, and they put on this paper. And once I'm under the floor, I can't move, I can't go anywhere, and we couldn't bring me back up and reshoot. This had to be it. The Karo syrup started to leak into the suit, down my neck, to my chest, to my arms and my stomach, down to my stomach, and I'll leave your imagination exactly where it went from that point on. Oh, payroll, sir. Yeah.
What can I say to that?
It was not fun.
But you say that now there are people that would pay for that experience.
Yes, there are. And I wish they had paid me.
Okay, everybody, this has been Scarefest TV. We're going to let Ken get to his party now and enjoy the evening. Ken, it's been an honor to have you on the show, and thanks for hanging out with us, and it's been a hell of a good time.
Thank you so much. You guys are better than I thought you'd be. So
I get that a lot.
And I'm glad I came by, and thanks for having me.
We will see you in October, and you can sit down with me and explain the rift.
Absolutely. I'll tell you the entire story. Thanks, guys.
Everybody, this has been Scarefest TV.
Good night.
Good night.